But what was really missing in the UN was this consolidated area in which you really focus with this massive population whose progress and empowerment could actually address a lot of the problems that we're dealing with in the 21st century. If you think about hunger and poverty, if you address the issue of women empowerment decisively, you could actually address poverty sustainably. If you think about inequality, most of the people who are on the wrong side of the inequality divide are women. If you were to deal with women, you would solve the big issue of economies that are not inclusive. If you think about peace and security in many of the countries that are in conflict, which has a lot to do with the fact that there's a spectacular failure of leadership in the world today, especially in my continent, Africa. If you had more women in positions of leadership, you probably could have less wars.
There are many studies that show, for instance, the countries that have at least 30% of women who are in legislative positions or parliamentarians have less corruption, have greater growth rates, all those sort of things. So, I mean, it just adds to the point.
Absolutely. If you have girls staying at school beyond primary school, for every year that you put them at school, you increase GDP performance and you change the macroeconomic indicators of a country and you create inclusive economies. So many of the things that need to be changed can be done. The data is there. The biggest challenge that we need to do now is to win hearts and minds. For decision makers to actually make the right decision. And for that, you need citizens' action. That is why for us as UN Women, mobilizing men and boys is critical, because that is mobilizing citizens to be on the right side, because they also benefit from a world that changes.
From CARE's perspective, that's what we think about. It's not, our focus on empowering girls and women is not just about girls and women. It's how do you have a gendered lens that recognizes how you make sure that girls and women are included.
It's not going to be the United Nations and UN Women to win on this issue. It's going to be people out there in the street taking the stand. And therefore, mobilizing with care in civil society in general, and young people, and the student movement, that for me is what in the next 10 to 15 years we've got to focus on so that we can turn this thing around, because we know it's good for everybody. And I don't think, I'd like to hear from you, is this mission impossible?
Well, you've just given us our 10-year agenda. Thank you very much.